The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is the main event.
Bonus! That's good. Yeah. Throw me a freaking bonus here.
This is your main event, Mark's Bonus Podcast. I am your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, cat dad, and I last longer than a WCW 2000 match. I am Troy. And with me as always is the main event collector and figure hunting warrior. He's the WCW watcher of classic wrestling and the Buff Bagwell to my Shane Douglas. It's Greg. What's up, Greg?
Could have picked anybody else.
Hey, that was the duo on the show, man. Well, one of the two duos, I guess.
The duo shows in the main event. Oh, you're talking about.
Oh God, yeah, right. You know, I was personally disappointed that we didn't get that Scott, whatever the hell, that was Arquette's co-star from Ready to Rumble. He didn't make a special appearance.
Scott Conn. It's the son of James Conn. Do you not know that?
I knew he was somebody famous's son, but
what a fail.
Yeah, I was like, I know
He's
he's
one of
the
the
son
most
of
legendary actors ever. But
didn't he pass away last year?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, not to make light of it, but it's like you think of all the like some people from Elf, that movie Elf that passed away, and it's like I would not have picked James Caan going before Papa
Careful
Elf
what
there.
thing you say. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, obviously, it's
Right
like
now, if he
obviously
passes away, you put that out there, you idiot.
God, like
Professor Proton, dude.
yeah, right. It's like Bob Newhart is currently like 93 years old. My gosh, like good for him. That's awesome, man. that's a long freaking life. But yet James Caan passed away. He was I don't think he was even pushing 90 at that point. Like, dang, man.
We're gonna talk about Elf. Can we talk about Will Ferrell's ass?
I think that's the one movie he didn't show his ass in. That's surprising.
That's a shame.
I know, right? But anyway, getting into this, obviously we're putting off the subject at hand here. We've been dancing around.
And for good reason.
Yeah, it's the very first ever Thunder that we've covered on this show.
Oh,
and,
we picked a good one here.
Absolutely. We have some companion pieces for this, I believe, because I know we reviewed the Nitro that happened shortly before this. It was the quote-unquote reboot. So if anybody goes back and checks that out.
As of this recording, we're one day removed from the anniversary of that.
Yeah. Fond memories, man. Or not. The other things, I swear we covered the one of the pay-per-views around this time.
Yeah, we watched Spring Stampede, which was like the reboot pay-per-view. All the champions were found, I believe. Yeah,
because we did Sold Out 2000, which was well before this, and New Blood Rising, which was later in this year. Man, bringing back traumatic memories here.
Too late. The whole show already did.
Yeah. Well, nobody's ever going to accuse David Arquette of being their favorite actor, but he's fine. And the show was something. I don't know. It ends with him as a world champion, which is why we're even talking about this damn thing. It's probably the most headline-making Thunder ever, would you say?
Yeah, I would say that, but that's not a crowded field, is it?
That is very true. I remember as a kid watching Thunder once in a blue moon.
Let's just say the very first episode. And those are the two marquee ones.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, oh, cool, there's more WCW. And I watched it, I'm like, they're just showing replays from Nitro, and there's like a couple of matches with dudes that are not good enough to make it on Nitro.
Yeah,
so
like Brian Adams, Vincent, Scott Norton.
How
Steve
dare you?
Ray.
That's the A-team.
That's who was all on there.
You're not wrong. You notice
High Voltage.
You notice who Thunder didn't work for, brother.
I believe he was on the very first episode.
Yeah, that was. He's like, I'll be there to pop one rating, and then I'm out.
I want to point out this show got a game out of it.
Yeah, it did.
Which I believe was only because they couldn't find another name, and they just threw the name on there to promote the show. I believe that.
I actually owned this game. I don't know. I can't remember if I ever sold it. Yeah, I remember
playing it. Despite at the time I thought it was great, but now I look back and man, this was a piece of crap. But
right.
You know.
But either way, this show is worth talking about, which we will. But first,
you're just being very liberal with your stuff today, dude.
Hey, good and bad things are worth talking about. Okay, like I didn't, that's like when somebody says, "Oh, it's historic." Doesn't mean it was good. I mean, World War II was historic.
Holy shit!
I'm just saying. All right,
oh, man.
I mean, there's a lot of history museums out there not dedicated to good things. All right, but
it just popped up on my memories yesterday or day before yesterday that we were at that New Orleans one.
Yeah, the Museum of Death. Yeah.
No. It was a World War museum, World War II, I think it was.
Oh yeah. I remember that. I almost forgot about that. That museum actually was awesome. Like, I don't think we planned on going there.
There was a freaking biplane hanging from the roof, which looked kind of cool, but like, I don't know. It just feels dangerous to me. But it probably wasn't. It probably was. It was probably gutted. So.
Yeah, I love museums. So that was actually pretty cool. I loved going to that museum and learning some stuff. But either way, before we get into all the news and notes, because we do actually have a lot of news around this time, as you would imagine. But first, we got to tell you about the sponsor of this here podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Mahler Bros Golf. We all want to look good on the golf course, but it often comes at the expense of feeling good. Mahler Bros Golf has polos that look good and feel good. With their lightweight and stretchy material that hugs your body, you'll feel cool while looking just as cool. These polos are guaranteed to make you look better, but it's up to you to golf better. On a hot summer day on the golf course, there's no polo that you would rather wear than Mahler Bros Golf signature polos. Mahler Bros Golf has a large catalog of polos with designs for those who want a loud design and others for those that want a subtle and sleek-looking design. They also have fun t-shirts, hats, tumblers, and so much more to make your golfing experience better. Use code BELLYUP at MahlerBros.com for 15% off. I gotta ask, let's be honest, alright? Are your polos getting outdated and dingy? I know for a fact that mine are. I've wore them way too long and way too much. It's time to get new ones that'll make you stand out on the golf course. Don't wait to try out your new favorite golf apparel. Upgrade your golf attire with Mahler Bros. Get 15% off at MahlerBros.com with code BELLYUP. That's 15% off at MAHLER Bros.com with code BELLYUP. Turn heads on the course or wherever you wear Mahler Bros polos. Mahler Bros Golf. Look good, feel good, play good. And now we're going to get into our first break. On the other end of this, we're going to dive into the news and notes. But stick around, don't skip, because we will tell you here how you can get yourself some Main Event Marks merchandise. And, I'm not biased or anything, but, it's some pretty good stuff, pal. Good crap, pal. And we're going to tell you about the other podcasts that we're friends with. I'm friendly with a few different podcasts, as are you, and we like to advertise the good stuff on this show. On the other end of this, we're going to get into the news and notes. Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks.
By God, somebody's interrupting the Main Event Marks. Sit down, JR. It's just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, your host of Here in Puckburg on the Hockey Podcast Network. I know, a hockey show on Main Event Marks. Who would have thought? This is an invasion angle. Somewhere between the Nexus and when WCW tried to invade WWE, somewhere in there. But I'm over here just telling you that one half of your tag team champions over here, Greg, he told his story of his love for the game of hockey over on my show. And if you'd like to hear that story, all you have to do is search here in Puckburg, wherever you get your podcast, or on YouTube. In the meantime, Shagamania's got to go run wild on some other hockey show. So, just remember, quote the Raven, nevermore, take your vitamins, say your prayers, and oh yeah!
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we're back.
We're back.
If you're tuning into a wrestling podcast to hear about wrestling and you want it gimmick and politics free, you probably want the same out of your products. Are you ready to ditch the gimmick coffee? Coffee Brand Coffee is fresh roasted to order using only the highest quality coffee sourced direct from farms around the world. They've got bagged coffee as well as K-Cups. Not into coffee? Well, they've got great teas and cocos as well. At Coffee Brand Coffee, their head coffee roasters have mastered the art of unlocking flavors hidden inside their beans. Each batch is custom crafted and curated to accompany unique flavor profiles. Click on the link in the podcast description or go to coffeebrandcoffee.com and use our special promo code MAINEVENT, all one word, at checkout to get 5% off your order. That's coffeebrandcoffee.com and use the promo code MAINEVENT to save 5% at checkout. It's news and notes time here on the Main Event Marks. So that means
That is correct.
Shut the fuck up, Dave.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
there you go.
Holy crap.
Getting into the news and notes here. This first story, I feel like the last few shows we've talked stuff about TV deals going through. Well, this one is
This is a heavy era, yeah.
Yeah, this one is setting up for something that, well, this is not really going to go anywhere as far as the USA Network at this time. Obviously, we don't know the court proceedings and what happened outside of it, but
Well, actually, I know all about it.
yeah, well, actually, I graduated from a highly respected college that shut down as soon as they gave me my degree. Anyway.
Well, considering where he lives, it would be Stanford, and yeah, no.
Yeah. WWF's new TV deal announcement has been delayed because the USA Network has filed a lawsuit against WWF, Viacom, and CBS by the terms of their current agreement.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna-
USA. Yeah, it's going to go well. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Spoiler! It doesn't.
Right. By the terms of their current agreement, USA has the right to match any offer that WWF gets from another network, which would allow them to keep WWF for another 5 years. Last week,
Or
USA...
lose it for 5 years.
Exactly. Last week, USA announced that it had plans to match the offer that CBS Viacom is making, but here's the catch. USA's right to match the offer only applies to the 4 wrestling shows, Raw, Heat, Superstars, and Livewire. The CBS Viacom offer
What a
is...
lineup.
Yeah, right. You got one and the others. But the CBS Viacom offer is for all of that, plus several other things, such as XFL broadcasting rights, and what rights those are. A 500.
Those are like last rights, I think.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. A $500,000 movie development fund, a 1-hour weekly drama series on UPN. So that's
Where's all
Tough
this
Enough came
happening
from.
at? 'Cause none of this happens.
Well, the UPN thing. I mean, we get Tough Enough. So.
Do we? On
what's
UPN?
Tough? Oh no,
It was on
that's right. It was
MTV.
on MTV. That's right. That you're right on that one. So,
That is correct.
Yes.
but anyway. But a publishing joint venture with Simon & Schuster, which Viacom owns, radio specials, hosting theme park events, and equity investment in WWF stock, and more. The Simon & Schuster book deal probably happened.
I think that might have been Mick Foley.
Yeah. The radio specials, no freaking clue. Hosting theme park events, I don't think that happened. The investment in WWF stock, sure, I'm sure they did. So basically, the CBS Viacom offer is for a lot more money, with which USA doesn't want to match because they don't want all of those other things. USA's lawsuit says, quote, by tying the right of first refusal with respect to the television series to the rights to different properties that Viacom and CBS wish to exploit, the offer represents a transparent and unlawful attempt by WWF-E, Viacom, and CBS to frustrate USA's contractual rights. End quote.
Sounds like USA was just being about it.
Yeah. Well, we don't want you to go.
We want you to stay here with what we want, our terms.
Right. Was USA owned by NBC Universal at this point?
I don't think so, not at this point. I remember it being a big thing like 2003, 2004. I only remember because Conan O'Brien had a whole bunch of sketches on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, if they're framing this as USA Network versus Viacom CBS or CBS Viacom, whatever. It's like if that was later on, then it would be NBC Universal versus CBS Viacom. But
who might stand a better chance to kick their ass?
Yeah, right. But USA has been publicly preparing itself to lose WWF, and even when they do, they will still remain the top-rated cable network. But it's thought that USA may just be filing this lawsuit in order to throw a wrench into the CBS Viacom deal. Time is ticking because Yeah, right. Time is ticking because the fall season TV advertising sales will be starting soon, and WWF and CBS Viacom need to get this deal finalized so that they can start selling ad space. By stalling the deal at this last minute, USA might be angling for a big cash settlement to make the lawsuit go away. Either way, it doesn't sound like USA is particularly thrilled about losing WWF. No, they were.
They're not too particular at keeping them either. Apparently, they want to keep them on their own terms.
Yeah, right. We don't pay you more. We preempt Raw 3 times a year.
I can think of 2.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how many times they preempted it for the tennis stuff throughout the year, and then obviously once for the dog show. But yeah, and they do all that crap. They don't advertise them very much. They keep them at the same money. Like, how is this an offer? Like, you're basically coming to the table, telling them, we're not going to give you what you're requesting. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to go over here for more. And they're like, no, you can't do that. I'm pretty sure they can. And they did.
It's like a kid that has a toy they don't want anymore. Mom tries to donate it. No, you can't do that. I don't want it, but I don't want someone else to have it.
Yeah, right. Well, I remember, I actually have this album. WWF The Music Volume 4 recently passed 1 million sales, thus certifying it platinum.
What songs were on that album?
I remember the Rock's theme song was on there. Mark Henry's Sexual Chocolate song, D'Lo Brown. I want to say Edge's theme song might have been on there. Triple H, My Time, that was the one. I forgot that was on there. But yeah, it was a pretty decent album. I had the third one on cassette tape. Kids, go Google it. Go Google it, kids. I know I've literally seen videos where a parent will hand their kid a cassette tape, and the kid's like, "The hell is this? What do you do with it?" And they're like holding it up to their ear, thinking it's just going to start playing.
Like you just wrote down like string theory to almost solve it.
Yeah, right.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, I couldn't believe they're like holding it up to their ears. I'm like, wait, there's not a speaker on it. What do you think it's going to do? It's all plastic.
Well, if the parent gives us something and says there's music on here, what are you gonna think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have a completely different thought pattern to it because, yeah, these kids never grew up with anything even close to this. So
no, their music is hitting play on the iPhone or something.
Yeah, pull it up on your phone, pull it up on YouTube, whatever. You just tap the screen and boom.
We have a video up on our YouTube about physical media being dead. Go listen to it.
Yeah, right. It's very true. But yeah, I had the second and third one on tape, and then I had the fourth one was the first one I got on the CD. And then after that, it started going to online MP3s you could download. So I stopped buying them at that point. But Gangrel is out of action for at least a month due to a separated shoulder. I don't know what the hell he was even doing around this time. Was a Brood still a thing?
Yeah, he might have been with the Hardys, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, because this was right after WrestleMania 2000. Well, okay, no, I'm thinking of 15 with the Hell in a Cell. Yeah. So I don't know what the hell he was doing at this point, other than what you said. Yeah, hanging with the Hardys.
I don't even know if they were at that point. I think they're already gone with Terry. So.
Yeah. Oh, for the Terry Invitational Tournament.
Yeah, bro. The initials, bro.
Oh, it's like boobs.
That may have been one of his very last things, if you think about it, because it ended at No Mercy 99. I think Halloween Havoc 99, the same year, was his first show at WCW.
Drop tit right before you head out the door. Nice. Like a boss, man.
That's him dropping a grenade.
Yeah, right. For people that don't know, we're talking about Vince Russo, obviously, who's heavy on the show. So, yay.
Oh.
Well, we're getting
on the show in quite a few ways.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, we're heading into one of your favorite parts of the podcast, so I'll hit the intro. This week in ECW. If I may have
some old school porn music and put it in there.
Maybe Paulie did. I don't know. That's some hardcore porn music. Dang. But which we're going to be talking about that later in the news.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
music, but hell yeah, man. Anyway, if any wrestling historians out there that know about that, you know what time it is, okay? So
Vader time.
Unfortunately, no. But it is time for this. We got to talk about it. The situation with Mike Awesome and the ECW title took a bunch of crazy twists and turns that ended with WCW wrestler facing a WWF wrestler for the ECW title in an ECW ring. ECW and WCW initially came to an agreement where WCW would pay ECW a 6-figure settlement in order to get Mike Awesome released from his contract, and there were several.
And guess what? That check passed.
Yeah, right. That kept the lights on for another few months. But there were several stipulations WCW had to follow in order for Awesome to appear on Nitro. Well, I'm sure those stipulations were set by Paul's Jewish father lawyer.
By me, sir.
But the stipulations were such as Mike Awesome not bringing the ECW title with him onto TV.
Oh, but he wore a fanny pack, though.
Yeah, right. That was a choice. And things that he would do and say, and what the announcers would do and say. But according to ECW, 2 of the stipulations were violated. When Awesome appeared, the WCW announcers were supposed to say that he is the ECW champion and that he had a title defense scheduled that would air that Friday night on TNN. They mentioned that he was the ECW champion, but they never plugged the TNN show. There were exact scripts for what the announcers were supposed to say. In fact, it appeared that Scott Hudson began reading from the script as he was supposed to, but never got to that part where he was going to plug the TNN show. Word is...
before you go on, how do we know it wasn't TNT that said, hey, do not plug a show on another network?
Yeah, well, that's...
why would they allow that?
I don't know. But I guess it was part of the legal settlement with... it was with Turner, who owns TNN or TNT, whatever.
Maybe someone didn't get the word. Yeah, you're not promoting that crap on my show.
Well, apparently he was cut off midway through by Tony Schiavone, and thus never got to the part where they plugged the TNN show. Word is that it was a purposeful call by someone in WCW, with those in the company saying that there was simply no way that WCW was ever going to plug ECW's show on the air.
And you know what? They shouldn't.
I agree. However, playing devil's advocate, if that was part of the court settlement, there's not really a way around it other than, well, we're just not going to do it, and then we owe you more money or whatever. I don't know, but either way, especially not during the first show of the new Bischoff-Russo era, which, yeah, for people that don't remember, Mike Awesome debuted on the quote-unquote reboot episode. The other stipulation is that Awesome wasn't supposed to cut a promo, which he did. All of this led to more legal threats the next day, which resulted in Awesome being pulled from the Thunder tapings.
Why was
Why
he
would
supposed to cut a promo?
How can you legally stipulate that? Look, he can appear, he can get physical, but he can't speak.
Is that what happened with Jay White this past week?
Dude,
All this you just said happened with him. He just appeared,
Yeah.
beat up somebody, and that was it. They tried to interview him, he didn't interview it, he just walked out.
Yeah. But anyway, keeping on with the story, though, as for Mike Awesome dropping the ECW title, Paul Heyman came up with the idea of bringing in Tazz as a surprise opponent to win the belt. Heyman called Vince McMahon, who accepted the proposal that Heyman laid out, which was for Tazz to win the ECW title from Awesome and then drop it a week later at another ECW show to Tommy Dreamer. Heyman even pitched the idea for Perry Saturn to do a run-in during the Tazz Dreamer match so that Tazz, a WWF guy, wouldn't have to lose clean to an ECW guy. And Heyman even offered to let WWF use the footage on TV to help further the Tazz Saturn angle that they're doing.
Let them use it? You mean please use it?
Right. But I do not remember that angle.
I remember. But which part? The Saturn part? That never happened.
Tazz.
I don't think that ever happened.
Yeah, because they're saying it like there's an ongoing feud between Tazz and Saturn in WWF.
I don't remember that specifically.
Yeah, must not have been a big deal. Anyway, no word if that's going to happen, but reportedly WWF has no issue with Tazz losing clean to anybody in ECW. Anybody, huh?
Oh, that's telling.
Well, first of all, it's like, be careful with your words there, because if you say anybody, I mean, that opens some doors.
You know, the Blue
Second of
Meanie
all-
was under contract there.
Yeah, right. No, he'll lose to Jason. How about that?
And get hives.
Exactly. Hey, man, you may have lost your title, but you got hives. Good for you.
I never understood why he had to be Taz. I mean, he had like a plethora of guys under contract there, obviously.
Right. I realize he's like the
Because
big
it's
bad
a WWE guy,
but-
so it's a WWE guy, so it's like it only helps him.
Right. Well, I've got a couple more things about that here.
I've always laughed though that he trusted the WWE guy to go in there and win the title, than more than the WCW guy at the time to go in there.
Right. Yep.
They have too much respect for Vince McMahon, not enough for Bischoff. Which it's a rhetorical question, but wow.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, the Mike Awesome Tazz match was nothing as a match, but the backstory is about as crazy as it gets. Awesome showed up to the arena with WCW head of security, Doug Dillinger, and nobody with Doug Dillinger.
It
And
looks like
he
you could
never-
take a couple of tall boys and a pack of smokes behind the arena before.
Yeah, right. And he never went to the ECW locker room due to concerns that he almost certainly would not be welcomed kindly. Yeah? I mean, was New Jack still there? Because he'd probably accuse him of calling him the N-word just so he could stab him.
Good Lord.
When Awesome came out, he got a massive "You sold out" chant. I like that. Whenever it's like, oh, you want to feed your family and leave this crap hole of a company? Well, you sold out.
Right.
Sure.
Don't worry, it's not like he's going to want to do some big stuff. Or, no pun intended.
But then Tazz came out to a huge pop using his full WWF gimmick, his WWF music, 2 Z's in his name, and the WWF version of his nickname, etc. Tazz beat him in about 1 minute, and without selling the finish at all, Awesome jumped up, climbed over the guardrail, and left the building immediately. Well, how Austin Aries of him. A lot of people...
I mean, his is just a choke, though. I mean, you could still get up and just walk off after a choke if you're not unconscious stuff. I can buy that a lot easier than I can like a hard move.
Yeah, but it's like if you get choked out, I guess I don't remember the finish if he tapped or passed out. But it's like if you get choked out, like, it's gonna take you a while to get your bearings about you. But he's just like peace. It's like walk
Oh,
off.
your name's awesome.
Exactly. Hey, down this leg I want it to say awesome. Down this leg I want it to say awesome. But anyway,
And on my ass, I just wanted to say awesome.
exactly. Just let them know. But a lot of people were surprised that WCW would agree to allow Awesome to lose to a WWF wrestler. But Paul Heyman pretty much had them by the balls here. This means that a WWF guy now holds the ECW title. Plus, Tazz didn't even beat Awesome clean because Tommy Dreamer had to help. So it didn't even do a good job of burying Mike Awesome. Anyway, when the match aired on TNN 2 nights later, all the internet buzz and hype didn't amount to squat in the ratings, as the show did about the same rating that it had been averaging for months. That sucks.
You had help from the two biggest companies and couldn't even get bigger.
Yeah, so people are literally sending you the message, I don't care what you put on your show, I'm not watching.
So even if you put A1 sauce on a pile of dog crap, it's not going to make it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, and now it gets into I have a sore point here, but the same night
man, because we were at such high ones here. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, I didn't get the memo.
Well, this is a sore point for just wrestling fans in general, I think, and it's caused some arguments between old Connie and Bruce Pritchard. But the same night that match happened, Tazz was on the pre-taped SmackDown show getting beat by Crash Holly. Then he jobbed out.
What the hell is wrong with Crash Holly?
He beat Tazz the same way he's winning a title.
The guy's the exact same size, though. Okay, it's a fair fight.
Oh my God. Then he jobbed to Eddie Guerrero on multiple house shows in New York.
Freaking thing wrong with that.
Yeah, but it's just setting this up like a pattern here. But he jobbed out to him in multiple shows in New York and Pittsburgh in opening matches, which those
Steelers. Sorry.
Those are obviously old ECW stomping grounds, so that's another sore point. And then this week, Tazz came out with the ECW title on Raw, while JR explained it by saying that he won it on his day off and never mentioned
that made me laugh so hard. Well, his day off, he just wandered over to another company and won a title.
Yeah.
How does anyone not see that as burying ECW? Not that I care, but
hold on.
It's still like anybody just walk right in with their title.
Yep. And he never mentioned.
That's bad because that's a bad omen for what we're about to cover here. Maybe I should retract that. Okay.
Well, he said that.
Get ahead
he never mentioned Mike Awesome, which, I mean, why would he? Tazz then lost a match on Raw, although he wasn't pinned. But then the big kicker is that on SmackDown, it was a champion versus champion match in Philadelphia, no less, with Tazz jobbing to Triple H. Not only that, but Triple H broke Tazz's submission and won, even with Tommy Dreamer coming out to try to help Tazz, pedigreeing them both.
Yeah.
Fucking buried.
Well, it is ECW. Why not?
It's just like, wow. And like Bruce was like, well, yeah, but we put their title on TV. Should we not have featured him? It's like, not if you're going to have him doing this. Like, good God. Like, why does it have to be?
If you're going to humiliate anybody, why not be ECW?
Well, it's not even just ECW, but it's just like Tazz. Like, what? Dude, whose mother did Tazz insult, man? Like, God.
I was just listening to, I think it was Angle's podcast, and he said that Tazz had like a huge issue. Like, just never wanted to go along with anything. He was a pain in the ass when he got to WWE. So I don't know for sure or not.
Really?
That's what he said. Something like that. I'm only paraphrasing, but.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's freaking rough, man. I'm like, really? Like, it's just like like he wins the ECW title and then lose. You can make the argument that he keeps losing up the ladder, but
no.
I like how like Bruce Pritchard gave this binary choice. He's like, look, we can either not have him on the show at all, or we have to have him lose to Triple H. Like, those are the only two choices.
Thus making the whole him winning the title on his day off thing even funnier, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just like, good Lord, not only are you burying ECW, but you're burying Tazz. Dude, after Tazz's initial...
I'll buy them out anyways, whatever.
After Tazz's initial winning streak that didn't last very long, he didn't do jack. Like, nothing.
Oh, he didn't. To this day, I think his biggest match ever was him being in that 6-man tag at WrestleMania 17.
Yeah,
he was on the main card. I mean, and again, I'm just like digging for stuff to say here, but
I guess Bruce Pritchard did say that there were a lot of complaints that people thought Tazz was dangerous because he would suplex people on their damn head.
You can go back and watch. I mean, I don't know specifically WWE, but watch the ECW stuff he did. But I just thought that was the move, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if the guy knows what you're doing and he's cool with it, I mean, it's still kind of dangerous, but I don't know. Like, there's a way to take it where it's not really as dangerous as it looks, but I guess WWE was not cool with that, which I totally understand. I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to go back on anything I laugh at, but there's times on Dynamite to this day where he just like a smartass and buries the announcers and stuff. Takes shots of them all the time. You can tell they're like legit shots too. So clearly he's just a dick.
Well, according to, I think, was it Bully Ray? I think he said that Tazz was a fake tough guy. Or it was either him or Rob Van Dam. I think it was Rob Van Dam. He said Tazz was a fake tough guy.
Yeah, Bully ain't gonna just no fellow New Yorker.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. Like, Rob just likes burying people on interviews, and he's so cool about it. Like, he buried I think it was that same damn shoot interview. He buried Mr. Anderson, where he's the exact quote was like he like made himself all puffed up, and he's like, oh, he walks around like, oh, I'm a big bad motherfucker. Like, really? Does Mr. Anderson walk around like that? Because if so, that's hilarious. He doesn't seem like the type, but all right. Either way, to wrap this
While
up,
chewing gum.
Oh, of course. The Tazz will eventually drop the belt, and it will probably never be acknowledged on WWF TV. It was not. And Dreamer is not expected to ever return to the WWF to get revenge on Triple H, so pretty much nobody from ECW came out ahead here. Nope.
ECW. I mean, what's ever going to be ahead in ECW?
The only person from ECW, well, I can think of 3 people collectively from ECW that struck it big in WWE, and it's RVD and the Dudleys.
So one of them already happened, mind you.
Right. I guess if you want to count Paul Heyman himself, but yeah, the rest of the ECW faithfuls just nothing. But either way, it's expected that Tommy Dreamer, speaking of him, will win the ECW title only because he's the most loyal guy that Paul Heyman has, and he can trust him to not screw over the company and jump ship like Mike Awesome did. Uncle Dave says well, yeah, I mean, he does win it eventually, but it's going to be a while. So
he loses it from Tazz. He does, but he loses it like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, so I guess so technically Dave's not wrong, but sort of. I don't know. But Uncle Dave does say that this reminds him of the last years of AWA when all of the champions kept getting swooped up by WWF, and eventually they put the title on Larry Zbyszko, who nobody bought as a world champion, simply because he was Vern Gagne's son-in-law, and he trusted him not to leave.
So he liked the son-in-law more than his own son. Okay.
Dude, like, even you couldn't shine up that own. You couldn't like put enough lipstick on that pig. Like, nobody cared about Greg. Like, not what.
Yeah, well, I've heard that a time or two.
Man, it's freaking Vern was like a megastar of his time. Everybody loved him. He was like the celebrity of that area. His son, like, oh yeah, you're Vern's son, aren't you?
Let me hit you with one. Who did more, him or Eric Watts?
I'd have to say Eric Watts by default.
Well, when you're in Texas Team 2000, you've already won life.
Oh, well, of course. And his name was Troy. So
nobody cares about Troy.
How dare you?
Go.
He once put Arn Anderson in an STF in a gas station, okay? That alone.
I thought we were talking wrestling, not the whitest thing I could think of. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, well, obviously Arn spilled his tall boy when it happened, but
and you bring my point home. Thank you.
And when Eric Watts pulled into said gas station to make the attack, he was blaring "Slow Ride" by Foghat.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Exactly. Speaking of the South, though, getting into WCW Spring Stampede, which, by the way, I double-checked. We did not review this Spring Stampede.
Are you sure? I swear to God, I watched it.
Well, you might have watched it. We did not review it on this
podcast. You know what? No, I did watch it because we were doing that Russo thing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I did watch it, though. Okay, for that.
Right. Well, Spring Stampede, the first pay-per-view under the Bischoff-Russo regime, sounds like a fever dream, is in the books, and it wasn't bad. In fact, it was probably the best WCW pay-per-view in about a year, but that's still not saying much.
My dog had his best bowel movement yesterday.
Yeah, right. I finally cleared myself out. Since they're still in the reboot phase, the show featured a ton of angles to make sure that the New Blood group got over his heels, with the heels winning every vacated title. The matches were mostly bad, and there were tons of screw job finishes.
No.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what Uncle Dave says is their best pay-per-view in about a year. So keep that in mind.
In a year, probably.
Yeah, that's
Can't
pretty
think of anything off
sad.
the top of my head.
But since they're starting fresh, Uncle Dave is willing to excuse that for now, since they're trying to build brand new storylines, and it's kind of necessary. A lot of it felt like a second-rate WWF imitation, however. There was a ton of
I
swearing.
wonder why.
Yeah, right. That went back into Eric Bischoff's, well, you can be the same, different, or what was the third one? Be the same, different, or you remember?
I don't know what the hell
Yeah.
you're talking about, honestly. But
Because he was talking about with Nitro when he went into it. He's like, well, you can be the same as the competition, which means, if they're already doing it, means you're going to lose, or you can do the same exact thing better, or you can be worse, which is probably what it's going to end up being, and WCW was for years, or you can be, I think he said different. You can be the same, you can be worse, or you can be different, and he wanted to be different. So here, they were not going to beat the WWF at their own game, so they were worse. But there was a ton of swearing, even
Hold
with
on.
announcers.
they were different.
No, they were different, all right. But I mean, it was the same, but different. If that makes sense to anybody. There was a ton of swearing, even by the announcers, and that felt forced. And reportedly, the announcers weren't super comfortable with it either. Oh God. So here's one I'd never heard of before. Today's years old. But Eric Bischoff met with MMA fighter Mark Kerr, and there are apparently plans to bring him in as part of a group called Fight Club.
Marker.
Yeah, I just now thought of that.
His name's Marker.
Good God.
Call me Cran.
Wow. But they want to start a group called Fight Club, which they also plan to include Mark Coleman, Don Fry, Tank Abbott, and for some reason, Rick Steiner.
Right.
Other than Rick Steiner, that's a badass group.
Yeah. Can any of them talk? I know.
Don Fry, I've heard him a couple times. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if he could cut a promo. I know he's big in Japan, or was big in Japan. Mark Coleman, I don't freaking know. Mark Kerr, I don't know.
I don't know how that is.
I heard the name. I know he did MMA years ago. I just can't think off the top of my head. But Tank Abbott, no, he could not cut a promo. I mean, he could talk, but he sucked at it. Rick Steiner, I don't freaking. I'm like, why? That's one of these things is not like the others.
You know what I was about to say? Go Blue. Sorry.
Oh, well, screw you. Something better than that. Ready to Rumble did a $2.68 million in its second week, which is a 53% drop from last weekend.
I am not ashamed to say I watched this on opening day or opening weekend.
Good God. And after its first 10 days, it's at around $9 million total and sitting at number 10. Stating the obvious, that's not good. It finishes up as a huge financial flop and only makes back about half of its budget. Man, how are you going to pay for Khan? He's got a lot.
They already did.
Yeah. Man, this is yeah. If anybody's seen Ready to Rumble, I'm sorry. You can share in our pain. That movie was not good.
It's so
Not
bad
good.
that it's good though.
Bad. As a kid, I was like, oh, cool, there were wrestlers in the movie, whatever. And I like Oliver Platt. So, I don't know, it gave me something.
I will rule you.
You ready to get into some indie mud show BS?
Cover AEW now?
Oh, for God's sake. No, much, much, much worse.
Unless it's like XPW or something, it can't be worse. But
Well, that's one of them. There's more news on New Jersey attempting to regulate extreme wrestling. WWF, WCW, and seemingly ECW will all be exempt from the rules because they aren't classified as extreme. Even though
Yeah, because it's not like in the name or anything.
Right. Even though 90% of the stuff in the bill, such as blading, barbed wire, etc., have been used in those companies regularly. But, I mean, we can't expect politicians to actually know what they're talking about. So, cut them some slack, man.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
These are the same ones that try to ban Mortal Kombat.
They tried to ban Mortal Kombat in New Jersey.
I don't know about specific states, but I know that Hillary Clinton and Lieberman, I think his name was, did it. And
God.
I think John
Call of
McCain,
Duty.
too, is another one.
Well, John McCain also tried to ban MMA and whatever else.
And he loved it, so.
Yeah. It freaking stupid, man. All these. And I'm sorry, I think Jersey's got more problems to worry about than, extreme wrestling.
I've been there, yeah, they do.
A lot of this stems from indie company Jersey All Pro Wrestling, which runs death matches regularly. So there you go. It was made even worse this week when a female JAPW wrestler was seriously injured in a match, fracturing one of her vertebrae. When the media confronted him about it, AJPW president Frank, butcher this name, Ayadavaya, told them that it was an angle and she's fine, and she backed it up, claiming that she wasn't really hurt. But then the media investigated it deeper and confronted the woman at her home and found out that she really is injured with a
How is
broken
that
neck.
okay? She was walking to somebody's house and put a camera in their face?
I assume they found out where she lived and then knocked on her door. And then at that point,
All
she
the
just
media
told them to
pieces
F
of
off.
crap.
At that point, if they knock on your door and you tell them to F off, I mean, there's nothing they can really do about it other than F off. But yeah, I always hated, when I was a reporter, I didn't do it over stuff like this. But when there was storm damage, I went around to a neighborhood and was like, hey, I see that, you got an effed up yard. You want to talk about it on, into a microphone? They would tell me yes or no.
Oh, I want to F you up for saying it.
Yeah. But anyway, so she then admitted that she and Ayadavaya agreed to lie and tell people that it was fake due to the political issues, and admitted that, yes, she's seriously hurt. Needless to say, this didn't help their case and just strengthened the calls for regulation.
Now, see, if they had a good old Tony Khan, they would have had her sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, right.
Rumor is he sleeps with those under his pillow.
Good God.
Maybe he's not so stupid with those now, huh? I think anyone's laughing at him now.
Yep. Hey, NDAs are, the owner of a company's best friend, man. I'll tell you.
So is what it is.
But yeah, I just love this where they're like, well, more regulation is the way to go. I mean, maybe it kind of worked in Kentucky. Believe it or not, Kentucky has some of the strictest laws for wrestling in the entire country. And it's because of people like Ian effing Rotten. He went over there doing his blood baths and crap every week, and they were like, all right, enough of this. And now everybody has to be drug tested. They have to have a license and all this other stuff, which I am perfectly cool with.
I'm for the testing.
Yeah, right. Don't be bleeding around, other people when you may or may not have something swimming around in your veins. But anyways, keeping up with
when people still wear masks because of COVID, I'm like, I'll wear it because just this way worse stuff.
Yeah. Well, keeping up with way worse stuff here. XPW held their big show at the LA Sports Arena, drawing 1,200 people. Yes, you heard me right. 1,200 people in LA wanted to see this. So,
I didn't
going,
get to see
LA.
the sports arena on my trip. I saw the Forum. I saw the Clippers' new arena. Of course, I saw SoFi, but I did not see sports arena. I didn't even know if it's still there or not.
Just a lot of venues for LA.
You didn't know that's where WrestleMania 7 was.
Oh, yeah, when they had to move from the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Well, Shane Douglas was there to cut a promo, trashing the WWF, WCW, and of course Ric Flair, because you got to, throw that into every damn Shane Douglas promo. I swear, Ric Flair touched him inappropriately or something like that. Maybe he saw the baby's arm and he got jealous. That's the only thing I can think of. But anyway, the crowd chanted, "You sold out," because they knew that Douglas had returned to WCW. Again, how dare you leave this crap hole of a company that doesn't pay you to go actually, make money? Piece of crap.
You want to live in a home, not in like a $20 a night hotel room, really?
Hey, if sleeping under a bridge is good enough for me, it's good enough for you. Anyway, Douglas called XPW owner Rob Black's wife I'm going to have to bleep this, but a porno whore, and slapped her. So,
I don't know why you got to bleep that, because you said nothing. I mean, calling someone that's offensive, but saying it in context is.
Well, and I'm not saying he's wrong.
Also, have you seen Dark Side of the Ring? Was he wrong?
Hey, I'm not saying necessarily that he's wrong.
Allegedly!
But, I think it was Lizzie Borden, I think was her stage name.
Is that the girl that killed her parents?
It is.
Okay, why would you want that name?
Well, because porn, bro.
God.
I don't know.
That's right there with Cactus Jack Manson.
Right. But then he apparently slapped her because, man-on-woman violence. And this led to an angle with Sabu making a surprise appearance, turning the main event into a three-way with Sabu, Douglas, and Chris Candido. Who, man, that's that'll bring the roof down.
Shut up and take my money.
Threw the babies in the air, man, and just...
Those guys never drew a dime.
Oh, they didn't. I don't know if you play that ironically, because it's actually spot on.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to crap on anybody, okay? But did anybody really go to see one of those three ever? Like, ooh, they're on the marquee. I gotta go.
My favorite story about Chris Candido, speaking of drawing dimes, was when he was the NWA champion. He met Lou Thez in like an airport bathroom or something like that, and he was like, "I hope they weren't peeing together when he did this, because that would be weird." But he went up to Lou Thez and was like, "Oh my God, Mr. Thez, nice to meet you. My name's Chris Candido. I'm the NWA champion and whatever." And he's like, "You got any advice for me?" And Thez was like, "Yeah, kid, just make sure you get your cut of the house up front." And Chris said Chris said he walked away and laughed because he's like, "If I was paid on my cut of the house, that'd be a pay cut for me."
Wow, good Lord.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, back in the day, that's how you paid the champ. Was he got a percentage of the house? That went out the door after the territory days. So, but one more from, I guess technically we've got two more from indie mud shows, but this first one is especially. The other one is just because it's dying. Sabu was scheduled to work on Insane Clown Posse's upcoming JCW tour as the headlining star. What a headliner it is, man. But Paul Heyman successfully blocked it via legal threats. Now, it's pretty bad when Paul Heyman's like, "I don't want you appearing on that trash. Come back to ECW."
Didn't he also talk crap about XPW too, say it was bad?
Yeah, well, Sabu did work XPW's recent show, despite Heyman's legal threats. And the way that they're trying to get around it is by saying that Sabu did the show for free and he wasn't paid. Basically,
how's that getting around it?
Because if he's getting paid, it means he worked there. But if he just showed up there for free and did it, then it's like, oh well, it's just for fun, whatever. So I guess that's the caveat: is you have to be paid for a job. I don't know. But basically, XPW is calling Heyman's bluff on this one, considering Heyman was struggling to keep ECW afloat at this point, and XPW was funded by massive amounts of porn money. I'm not joking. This was probably
I've seen Dark Side of the Ring. I'm not joking. I've seen it.
Yep.
But yeah, this is true.
This was probably a safe bet that Heyman wasn't going to waste resources by suing them. Probably the same reason WCW didn't hesitate to steal Mike Awesome despite a valid contract.
Didn't Paul even bring in what's that famous one for the Dudley Boys? One.
For the what?
Paul even bring in a porn star?
Oh, Jenna Jameson?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was there for like a show, I think. But either way, ECW was just powerless against people with more money, which was pretty much everybody. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, what the hell does XPW care? It's not like
the local APW that was here in Hayward at the point.
Yeah.
I made more than him.
By the way, to the first part of the story, JCW, for anybody that doesn't know, stands for Juggalo Champion Shit Wrestling. That's not an
When I
insult.
first heard someone say that, I thought they were insulting it.
Yep. But no,
Just throw that name on there like that.
Yep. It was ICP's humor of, haha, poop. So there you go.
I think the funniest thing I've ever heard from that was when you told me, when it was the two guys who no one knew. I want them to say, tonight's Who the Hell Are These Guys match?
Yeah.
That's
They
fun.
literally announced it. That's an accurate announcement that I believe should be on nearly every show. But, whatever. But there's more Hart family drama as Stampede Wrestling announced that they would be running an 85th birthday show for Stu Hart in conjunction with the WWF. The next day, Stu Hart said that he would not be attending. Bruce and Ross Hart, who run Stampede, originally wanted to do an Owen Hart tribute show since we're approaching 1 year since his death, but sort of masked it as a Stu Hart celebration show since his birthday is also in May. Bruce contacted Vince McMahon and Jim Ross asking to use some wrestlers, and it was approved by the WWF, who were apparently under the impression that it was only a Stu Hart show. The show comes on a day off for WWF stars, so pretty much all the Canadian wrestlers, like Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Edge, Christian, Test, Val Venus, etc., all signed up to go work the show for free, believing that everyone was on the same page and that it was all good. But the day after it was announced, Stu Hart said that he would not be attending, feeling that it was in poor taste. In a Calgary Sun newspaper article, Bret Hart was quoted saying that Stu was unaware of the show, that it had even been planned in his honor. Martha Hart, who is Owen Hart's widow, was quoted saying that WWF is just trying to score PR points, and she wouldn't be involved either. When all of this came to light, many of the WWF wrestlers wanted to pull out. Benoit, in particular, said that he was misled about what the show would be, and he doesn't want to go anymore. But Vince McMahon won't let them back out, saying that unless the show is canceled, they're already advertised and have to go. Well, they all got out of it because the show ends up not happening.
Confused as hell what happened there.
Yeah, basically, two of the Hart brothers decided we're going to kind of end around an Owen tribute show, but not tell anybody until they get there, and we're going to say it's for our dad. And we're going to pull in a bunch of WWF talent to, make it happen and maybe draw a house.
It's dirty on a couple levels.
Yep. And Stu didn't want any part of it. He didn't want to work with WWF anymore. We've talked about this before. You can be on either side of the issue, but if my son was Owen, I don't know how I would feel about that, especially at this point. It was only a year since he'd passed. You might hold some ill will. But, Martha wasn't going to be a part of it.
Tad.
Yeah. Brett was in WCW at the time. He didn't want anything to do with it. Were there any Harts in WWF? I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, Bulldog, I think, is unemployed at this point.
Him and Anvil or no. What year is this? 2000.
2000? Yeah.
He's about to be back in WWE.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
About to be back to wearing those jeans, remember?
Yeah, and get dropped into some dog poo.
Now in the
Not
archives.
Joking. Yeah, this happened. In the Georgia Dome, by the way.
That's TJ's personal heaven. If you've listened to the show long enough.
I just think it's one of those history making it's a football arena. They made a big deal out of it. So I always thought it was funny that WWF went in and basically danced in the center field of WCW's home turf and gave them the middle finger.
And they could never get in the garden.
Yeah, right. Final story I got here. I don't know who this guy is, but it's kind of a warning message to, we've talked about a couple guys that something like this happened to. New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler Masakura Fukuda passed away from complications from a cerebral hemorrhage after collapsing in the ring during a match with Katsuyori Shibata. Yeah.
They could just take his brain out and operate on it and put it back in?
Yeah. Ironic that Shibata was the one that Dave said that about. Dude, if you're... Obviously, he didn't know that this was going to happen, but it's like, if you're not in good shape, Shibata's probably not the best dude you want to get in the ring with, man. But in the match,
No,
Shibata...
I pick Ming.
Yeah. Well, Shibata hit him with an elbow drop that he was supposed to kick out of, but instead Fukuda didn't get up and began snoring in the ring, sending officials into a panic, and he was immediately rushed to the hospital. Fukuda had a history of brain issues. Yeah. Fukuda had a history of brain issues, having suffered a similar cerebral hemorrhage last year, which led him to have brain surgery before recently returning. I'm not blaming him for this, but it's like, dude, was it worth it? Like, you had to keep going. I'm sorry, you just had a freaking cerebral hemorrhage that almost killed you, and so you're going to go back. And then you have another one, and it does kill you. Like, maybe take it easy, man. Like, find another line of work. Maybe one where you don't get hit in the head all the time.
Some people are just obsessed with it.
Yeah, and people just don't take care of themselves. I think that's one good trend about wrestling nowadays is people take care of themselves a lot more. It was obviously not that way always, which is why you see all these wrestlers dying so young. Freaking sucks. But people just take care of yourselves, and even if you're not a wrestler, just don't ignore your health issues, man.
All right. Put this out there. Terry Funk is still alive.
Yeah, right? Like, what the hell? Not that I'm complaining, obviously, but just like,
I'm not saying that for any reason other than like all the matches he's done. Like,
yeah, look what he's put himself through. Mick Foley can barely like read a script anymore, and he can barely walk. Like, Terry Funk, I guess he's got some memory loss and stuff now, but he's also fairly old at this point. So either way, now we're done with that depressing story. You ready to get into this depressing event?
Yeah.
Yep. This is when, look, this did not kill WCW. Keep that in mind. WCW is dead. All right. This was just a coffin on roller skates at this point. But this is like, there's beating a dead horse, and then there's coming back to that dead horse after a few months and going, giddy up.
I've always said that the finger poke of doom put on life support. Vince Russo pulled the plug and then watched it slowly die.
Whilst pissing on its corpse. Like, bro, why won't you get up, bro? I'm pissing on you. Make me money, bro.
You know, he's from New York. He should know. He should be used to people just not even turning their head or looking twice when you pee on somebody.
Yeah, right. We watched a guy pee off the back of the subway.
We did, yeah.
True.
And
story.
Remember the guy in the middle of the cars in the subway, the pass-through.
Or yeah, that's what I was referring to. Yeah, you like.
There was another one when he was literally peeing off the edge of it too.
I don't think I saw that one.
Might have been with someone else. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So you've seen multiple people pissing in public in New York. That's some great advertisement there for the city. Oh, God. But all right, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we're getting into Thunder.
Down Under.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan. Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Same mother and father.
Your room was...
we shared the room.
Shared a room?
We shared the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast?
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The Broadcast. Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah, well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. Nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Salute, mate.
Take it easy.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Here we go.
It's WCW. Y'all don't Don't seem so enthused, man. You got to get into it.
I'm sorry.
Man.
I watched the show. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, so did I. And what I have to say about it is good crap, pal. But it's WCW Thunder from April 26, 2000. The venue was the On-Center War Memorial Arena in Syracuse, New York. It's got a different name now.
It's a war memorial. Thus, paying tribute to those who have died for our country. You give them this.
Yeah, it's a war memorial. So let's pimp the name out to like Allstate. But the attendance was 1,269. Keep in mind, this place held 7,000 people.
What was the attendance?
1,269.
Oh, man.
So this was like just over a seventh of the capacity. Yikes. But the TV rating for this was
no idea what they were about to witness.
I know. Poor, unfortunate souls, man. Well, that includes the TV rating of 2.7.
Yeah, I was in on that rating, I think. I'm pretty sure I watched this.
Dude, in today's wrestling, a 2.7 rating is great. In 2000,
it's SmackDown.
Yeah, right. That's a success. 2000, that was, dude, we're about to close up shop. But we start the show.
Can I just say, by the way, go back to the attendance. I didn't notice it. They did a pretty good job filming around it.
Yeah, right. Let's squeeze you all into one section and only film that one section.
It's literally what AEW does now. I was part of it at the Cow Palace.
Dude, what always got me is when I've been to a few WWE shows, like mostly SmackDown does this in the Nutter Center in Dayton. Yeah, Dayton. And like the production side is always like empty as F. Like, so the hard cam side is full. Like almost every seat taken, but the production side just dead, nothing there. So like it's funny when the wrestlers come out and face hard cam to talk, they're talking into the abyss. I
remember at NXT last year in Dallas, it was the same way. It was the production side was empty, and Odyssey Jones just came and sat right by us.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well. We start the show with Eric Bischoff pulling up in a car, and out steps him, Kimberly, and Jeff Jarrett. Bischoff says,
"Looking all
we've got." Oh yeah, Kimberly looked okay too.
Yeah.
Bischoff says, "Look who we've got in the trunk," and Jarrett yanks David Arquette out of the trunk and walks him into the building while putting him in a headlock. Jarrett takes him straight to the ring and demands that Diamond Dallas Page come out or he'll beat Arquette up. When DDP finally comes out with Canyon by his side.
You got a lot more sensitive than that, dude.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, okay. But he finally comes out with Canyon by his side, and Jarrett tells him to stop on the ramp or he'll break Arquette's neck. He then demands that tonight, Page team with Arquette against Jarrett and Bischoff with the WCW title on the line. For some reason, F-bombs get thrown around here. Like this promo literally devolves into "fuck you," no, "fuck you." Like what? Come on, man! Like DDP and Jeff Jarrett had to do that.
I can tell you for a fact. I remember watching these live, and I just felt like I knew Arquette was going to win when they announced the stipulation. Whoever gets the pinfall.
Oh yeah. Well, what's the dumbest possible conclusion you can come to? That. Therefore, it will happen. Like, that's it. But anyway, this is before Jarrett gets Buff Bagwell and Shane Douglas to come out on the stage after Page and Canyon. But before they could move, Ric Flair and Lex Luger come out and jump them from behind. Bischoff and Jarrett take a powder so that DDP can go face-to-face with Kimberly. She goes after him. He teases hitting a diamond cutter on her, but he lets her go. Then, when he tries to leave, Kimberly low blows him. In the nuts. But backstage now, Ernest the Cat Miller is being interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund. Mean Gene tries to ask about the Cat's match with Bam Bam Bigelow tonight, and then he switches gears, saying that Bischoff and Russo aren't happy with the Cat because Terry Funk is still hardcore champion. Cat says that he doesn't care and is only concerned with Bigelow tonight. Now we come back from commercial to see that Jeff Jarrett is stashing David Arquette in the bowels of the building. Kidnapping and assault for the win.
At this point, I write down, why are you still kidnapping? You got your match.
Yeah, right. It just makes no... Well, because, Greg, we have to have the obligatory somebody walking through the backstage area shouting for somebody else that they're looking for.
Yeah.
That you
Also,
pointed that out to me, that's a Russo staple.
I'm also just now realizing too that it's going to set up his dramatic entrance. Like, looks like he just got off of a bender later.
Yeah, looks like. Oh well, I'm sorry, I got a hit.
Allegedly.
Anyway, but yeah, these are two crimes right now. We've got kidnapping and assault on the board. We'll count them up at the end. But this first match, and I use that term loosely, is Ernest Miller versus Bam Bam Bigelow. This goes just over a minute. Heard me right. Miller grabs the mic when Bam Bam comes to the ring and says that this isn't between them. Miller only hit him because Bigelow hit him first, so he wants Bigelow to forgive him. Right when Bam Bam is thinking about it, Miller insults his mom, and the match is on. Because nothing says we need to fight like a yo mama joke.
Right.
But Bigelow goes for a chair, the ref takes it, and the cat hits the feliner to win. By the way, Ms. Hancock is taking notes at ringside. Why? Nobody knows, nor cares. Excuse me, WWE Hall of Famer Ms. Hancock. I need to point that out.
Yeah. You're just handing them out now like candy.
Yeah, it's like, why is Stacy Keibler in the Hall of Fame? Because she's hot, bro.
And you know who's not? Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah. I
The woman who did about almost as much wrestling as Hulk Hogan did in the 80s. I'll point that out.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine who I was watching WrestleMania Night 1 with. I was like, why is Stacy Keibler going into the Hall of Fame? He's like, oh, I like Stacy. I'm like, I liked looking at her. I'm like, why is she going into the Hall of Fame? Although I guess we could say that about quite a few people that they've had in the Hall of Fame, like, I don't know, Drew Carey, but, whatever. Or your favorite, Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, at least he drew some money back in the day. He sucked, but he drew some money. Either way, Bam Bam attacks Miller after the match and then leaves because we had to have an afterbirth to this. Yeah. People can't just lose and then off in this show. Nope.
Bro.
They have to. Bro, attack him, bro. Nothing's stopping you. Which I guess logically is true. But why? Every match. But now we see Billy Kidman and Tori Wilson looking all the way live.
All the way live.
Pulling into the building.
Tori was there too.
Oh, yeah. And then DDP walking through the halls, shouting and looking for David Arquette.
Oh, man.
Why? This every show. You remember, didn't we review that one Nitro? I can't remember which one. It was the reboot. Yeah, where Hogan literally spent the whole night wandering around looking for Bischoff, shouting expletives.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, son of a bitch, damn it, son of a bitch, Bischoff. And I'm like, what the heck? Are you broken? Like, how hard did they hit you, man?
I'm not going to try to defend Russo's logic here, but I mean, I guess they understand it. It's like, why would you just be sitting around if you're pissed at somebody? Wouldn't you be looking for them? I mean, I guess I can kind of understand it, but
every week, people were just like, you know what? I'm not going to wait for our match. F them. I'm looking for them. I don't know. Carried over into TNA. Yeah, right. But when we get back from commercial break, Eric Bischoff is teasing David Arquette, telling him to leave, but Jeff Jarrett keeps shoving Arquette back. Because we need to get more of this. Riveting TV, bro. But now, speaking of riveting TV,
I'm gonna assume you didn't rate any of these matches either.
No, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't ask you for your rating because you had told me before you don't rate weekly shows. I mean, plus there's nothing there to rate,
especially this one.
Yeah, like none of these are like real matches. You have two on this whole show that you could kind of qualify as real matches. The rest of them are just like
Yeah,
segments
one of them's
with a
already
pin.
over.
Wow. But speaking of riveting TV, we get Sean Stasiak, Perfect Sean, taking on Chris Kanyon in 2 minutes, 41 seconds. Kurt Hennig comes out to do commentary during this one because he's feuding with Stasiak. In the end,
Over the music.
Right. In the end, Hennig hits Stasiak from behind, leading to Kanyon hitting a flatliner to win. After the match, we get another afterbirth because Kurt Hennig stands over Stasiak and yells at him before slapping him around. And now Mike Awesome comes out for some reason to beat up Kanyon. It's just
that's gonna lead to something awesome, huh? No pun intended.
Yeah, right. I feel like circus music should just be playing at this time. But Hennig hits the Hennigplex on Stasiak, and Awesome comes in to beat Hennig up. Now, DDP runs out and hits the Diamond Cutter on Sean Stasiak, that poor bastard, as the others take a powder. DDP grabs the mic now and finally accepts the main event challenge. Oh, well, thank God.
I thought it was already set in stone, actually, at this point.
That's what I thought, too, until the segment. And then I'm like, oh, I guess we never got a resolution to that? Like, that's not good that I don't know this.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, right. But after another commercial break, Billy Kidman comes to the ring with Tori Wilson. We see Mark Marrow with a full mullet in the front row. Looking full Johnny B. Bad at this time, man. But
he's a bad man.
Kidman talks down to Hulk Hogan, saying that he put him in the hospital bed. Now he's issuing an open challenge. American Made hits, and Kidman gets scared, and he should be, because it's not Hulk, it's the Hogan, Horace Hogan.
Got the pop of his life, dude.
Yeah, right. That's like you call out Rey Mysterio for an even-handed one-on-one match, and you end up getting Andre the Giant. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna be crushed.
Wow, what the hell?
Horace Hogan, man. And I thought to myself, how did Hulk not get him a job after WCW?
Because Diamond Hulk's that good, man.
Yeah, right. Hey, Uncle Hulk, you think you could get me a job doing something in WWE? I don't think it works for me, brother.
Here's the thing. Vince McMahon's not an idiot. These people are stupid. They'll sign anything.
Listen, brother. We were working for some money marks before, all right? I can't squeeze you in here, all right? I can't even get Jimmy Hart into this one.
This guy's got a brain.
Yeah, right. I can't slip you in the back door and nobody realizes it this time, all right? It's like, wait a minute, is this guy on payroll? Like, what's your last name? Hogan? Ah, okay. Oh my God. Anyway, but this is Billy Kidman versus Horace Hogan in about 5.5 minutes. It was a match, kinda, but Eric Bischoff wanders out about halfway through this one to yell at Horace because we can't concentrate on a damn match in WCW. Horace then throws a chair in the ring and sets up a table outside because we can't just wrestle in WCW. Tori low blows Horace right in front of the ref. No bell is called for. Eric Bischoff then kicks the referee out, hits Horace with a steel chair, and Billy Kidman hits a jumping bulldog through the table for Bischoff counts of 3, and Tori kisses Horace. It was the kiss of death, I guess. And then they off with no resolution. Like, what is this, man?
Okay. Now you're just stealing my notes. I put on my notes. What was the point of this?
Oh, well, because
I know. That could be applied to anything on the show, but this one was like glaring. Why?
Well, stay tuned, man. Up next.
Oh, I know.
We've got Tank Abbott coming out to the ring to cut the most awkward effing promo of all time. I might be exaggerating a tad, but it's bad, all right? The crowd is chanting for Goldberg because, Tank keeps calling him out. That's a gimmick, you see. And Tank says, if you're going to say his name, say it right. And then he stands there looking bored, like he's halfway through math class. And then I swear to God, he just says Goldberg. Like, what? Did he just say, don't call him Goldberg? call him Goldberg?
Well, it's, 2 words, essentially.
Yeah.
He wanted to say 2 words, not 1 word.
I thought he was going to, I'm like, there had to have been something in there that he just messed up.
That's what exactly I'm thinking. So he forgot something.
Yeah, he's like, what was the crap? What was the insult I had for him? Iceberg, Greenberg, Oldberg, no, Goldberg. Oh, wait, damn it, that's his name. Look, no one ever accused this idiot of being, above, or, having a above room temperature IQ, okay?
Holy crap. It's like when your IQ matches your shoe size.
Yeah. I think basically what I'm trying to say is he wasn't a smart man, all right? The Tank says that Goldberg isn't there tonight.
No, we got the hell out of fighting right when, UFC got financially good. Yeah, he's clearly smart.
And stop putting stop putting freak shows out there.
That's why
he got out. Okay. Yeah, right. Tank says that Goldberg isn't there tonight because he's a coward. I think he's not there tonight because it's Thunder. And he's an actual star. But anyway, so he'll keep delivering beatings to randos in the building. My question is, where's Pete Becker? He'll put an end to this. People don't know who I'm talking about. Google it. Speaking of which, I was today.
He's the guy that made the Mandalorian.
Yeah, right. Tank eventually challenges Mark Marrow. Bad call, man. And they square up. Former boxer Ray Rinaldi, who I don't know anything about boxing, so I have no idea who this guy is. But he's with Marrow, and he gets in the ring. Tank goes for him, but Marrow stops him. They start brawling with each other before security hits the ring to split them up. Tony hits the line of, Marrow doesn't even work here.
At this point, does anybody buy that? You literally just used that for the Radicals on the other channel.
Dude, nobody works anywhere, okay? Nobody's under contract. F it all. Who works anywhere? By the way, to my knowledge, not like I'm a Tank Abbott enthusiast here, but I don't think this goes anywhere.
No, it doesn't.
Marrow shows up for this one night. They tease this.
I think Marrow may have another match, at least.
Wait, Marrow has a WCW match?
I believe so. I think I remember him seeing him on episode.
I had no idea about that, but all right. But we now switch to the back, where we see Sting covered in blood, and we're made to believe that he's been like this for 4 damn days, just walking around. Because, yeah. I mean, they are in New York, so I guess you can get away looking like that.
I'm watching this. I'm like, how has AEW not repeated this?
Dude, even they're not this freaking dumb, man. There's no way.
Hold on.
Well, but Tony Schiavone doesn't call this blood either. He says that Sting is, quote, covered in red.
Right.
At this point, I'm thinking he just can't say blood.
Well, yeah, because he said, can you just not call blood blood? But because he says new blood, obviously. But when it comes to actual blood, he can't say blood. Covered in red.
These are the AOL Time Warner freaky ass rules. I don't know.
Yeah. Because the other announcers say it too. Like when he's out during his match, they're like, "Oh, he's covered in that red." Like red.
We don't say blood.
Like red isn't a noun; it's an adjective. Like it's a color. It's not a thing. Oh God. By the way, no, he was not covered in red. That was back when he was in the Wolf Pack. But either way. DDP finally finds David Arquette in the bowels of the building and saves him. Okay. Yay, I guess.
At this point, I'm waiting for Mankind to pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in Boy Meets World.
And then I'm like, oh crap, the stars are on the other channel. My mistake.
Yeah. That would have been hilarious. He would have just done like he did on Boy Meets World. Just burst through a random door. Where am I?
I'm back in this hellhole.
Did I say bang bang? But anyway, up next is the Wall Brother taking on Sting in a tables match.
Right.
And it goes about a minute and a half. Yep. So it's Thunder, and Sting is here.
This is one of the biggest stars in the history of this company, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Thunder, and Sting is here. We've got to do a tables match. And
Actually,
that's science. But in short order, Sting.
I feel like I see some sarcasm in your voice there.
Oh, not at all. Clearly, because when I think of Sting, I think of tables matches. Sting power bombs the wall off the apron through a table for the win. Yay! Was there any effing doubt? I mean, for God's sake, he was not jobbing to the wall.
Well, I mean, if you watched at the time, they were going big with him, man. I feel like they had major plans for him, and it just didn't come to fruition.
My favorite thing will always be when he was still wearing the shirt and tie, and they were somewhere in like Venice Beach or something like that, and it's like an outdoor venue. Yeah, well,
pretty sure it's Panama.
Remember where Hogan was in the ring cutting a promo, and then like down the street on a hotel building, the wall crawls up and on the roof and like holds his hand up. And somehow Hogan can see that shit. And he's like, Hey, look, it's the wall, brother. Like, what?
That right there, I mean, as stupid as it was, that should tell you what they were planning for him.
Yeah,
of course,
I'm not
again, and you'll hear running theme here. It never went anywhere.
Yeah, I know. Well, that seemed to be the story of a lot.
Anybody that watched Nitro back then, you go back and watch. They clearly were going somewhere with him, and they just said, never mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they did the same with Kidman. I can't necessarily say that. Kidman got a lot of TV time, and obviously he was feuding with, like, the big dog in the company. He got his crap kicked in and beaten every single time. So, I don't know how much good it did him, but, whatever.
Well, he ended the company as one half of the Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions.
Oh,
so that should tell you. That should tell you what you need to know right there.
And those titles looked like, you ever see those, like, Facebook will give you advertisements for getting your own custom titles for your fantasy leagues?
Yep.
They look like them, man. My cousin has a Mario Kart belt that looks better than those titles.
Put a crayon in my ass and squat over paper and make a better one.
Jeff Hardy's custom title looked better than those.
That is the second Mr. Anderson reference in the show.
Yep. Hey, gotta get. Well, you have to say his name twice, so you got to reference him twice. But Vampiro now jumps Sting from behind, and the wall joins in with the beating. Another afterbirth. Sting gets the better of them both and sends them both out of the ring because they're both geeks that nobody gives a shit about. So bye.
Because in 2000, when I think of new blood, new guys, I think of Vampiro.
Yeah. I guess technically he wasn't there that long, so he was new-ish. That makes more sense than Jeff Jarrett and Scott Steiner. And
technically Booker T.
Yeah. Well, we now get to see Vince Russo walking with Shane Douglas and Buff Bagwell backstage, and then we see Sting
with both of his lips tucked in. By the way, you ever notice he does that a lot?
I never paid attention to that, but now I'm going to be looking for it.
It's always like his lips are always tucked in, both of them.
Yeah, I'll have to look for that now. But then we see Sting exit the building, looking like he's in a trance. Well, I hope he gets a bath. Oh man! But Russo now comes to the ring with Douglas and Bagwell in tow. Vince is stealing Sting's gimmick by carrying a black baseball bat. How the hell did he get away with this? I realize he's writing the show, but it's like he never once thought maybe I'm stealing Sting's gimmick because, like, he's literally done this since '97. No, just
oh,
yeah. He didn't put 2 seconds of thought into that because
me, right?
Oh, Sting.
Oh, God. Yeah, right. You figure Sting would have, because I've heard of wrestlers doing that before. Like Sting would have confronted him. It's like, hey, you're stealing my gimmick. Knock it off. Like they do that with moves all the time, but I guess Sting just didn't really give a damn at that point. He's like, whatever, pay me.
Like most of the company's already checked out mentally.
Yeah, right. Well, Russo starts off by saying that upstate New York isn't real New York and might as well be Iowa. I mean,
What the hell does that mean?
other than that last part, I kind of agree. Upstate New York is very different from New York City. At least that's what I've been told. You had said Buffalo is pretty much Canada.
Yeah, but I still want to know what the Iowa reference is.
Yeah, I don't get I'm like, of all the states, Iowa, like in the center of the country. Like, okay. Bagwell then verbally attacks Lex Luger. Douglas goes after Ric Flair. Yada yada.
Of
I didn't write
course.
down any of that. Right. Flair's music hits now, and he comes out onto the stage with Luger and Elizabeth. Vince Russo said that he anticipated this, so he gets security to guard the ring. Flair starts off by going on after Billy Kidman for what he said about Hulk Hogan. Rick then loses his mind, per usual, talking about all the same stuff
Saying
he
he
always
had
talks
it
about.
attacked at one point. Okay.
This was before saying that Russo is a mark, no lies detected, and he says that Shane isn't the franchise because Sting is the real franchise. Again, no lies detected. And he says that his bar tab is more expensive than the 3 in the ring will ever make. He's probably not wrong. Flair says that the only way that he'll accept a match at Slamboree against Shane Douglas is if Vince Russo interferes, then Flair gets him alone for 5 minutes. Russo drops yet another smarky BS comment and says, quote, I guess this is the part of the show where I'm supposed to be the chicken shit heel, right?
Right.
To which I
can't figure out why this company went under.
Oh,
it's like Deadpool, bro.
Yeah, right. Because everybody loves the internet talk, man. Lord. Russo says that he loved Flair for 5 minutes because he's not Wahoo, he's not Dusty, he's Vince Russo. Yeah, that's a hell of a statement.
Way to put yourself down, okay?
Yeah, right. That's like, it's like if I were to come out and be like, hey, look, I'm not Steve Jobs, I'm not Stephen Hawking, all right? I'm Troy. Like, so are you saying you're stupid? That's the only way I could take it. But Luger goes after Bagwell, and then Russo hits back, saying that Luger doesn't own Liz's contract, WCW does, so that means he owns Elizabeth. Because, that's how contracts work.
Yeah.
When you
point out he owns a woman. So,
Yeah, right. Well, I guess you can own people now, so now we're condoning slavery.
You don't watch AEW. Stokely Hathaway owns Private Party.
Oh God.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. They're really talking about buying them and then being his property. Yeah. So this stuff's
the black guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's really happened.
Was somebody going to buy MJF's
and then there was a line,
contract?
I swear to you, I'm not joking. Go look it up. He said, put on that damn chain.
Mother of God.
Not making this up.
That's like somebody buying MJF's contract and telling him to build him a wall or something.
Holy crap. You said that.
It's like, it's the same level of effed up. Like, good Lord, man. Yeah, so...
I'm surprised, like, it didn't go anywhere, unless I'm forgetting, but the whole I own Liz didn't go anywhere, like, sexually. I'm surprised he didn't do it.
Bro, boobs. But Luger and Flair beat down security and rush the ring, but Russo takes off and picks up Liz, carrying her to the back with security. After the commercial break, we see that security forced Liz into a car with Russo and then sped off. So we're up to another count of kidnapping. So if you add that into slavery...
I think endangerment, too. It sped off.
Yeah, heaven knows how many traffic laws he broke. We'll tack one on there.
Well,
so
that's New Yorker, though. So.
Yeah, all of them drive like crazy a-holes. But...
Been there 5 times. Yes, they do.
There's 2 counts of kidnapping. 1 count of slavery. And 1 count of assault. And then we'll throw in, like, speeding. So there's at least, 4 felonies and a misdemeanor in there.
Forcing someone to do something against your will.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. This effing show, man. But either way...
None of this is made up.
Oh no, I don't have an effed up enough mind to come up with this stuff. Like, this takes some real Arrested Development to come up with this. But DDP is wanting David Arquette to get checked out by WCW doctors, and he refuses, storming off. DDP then tries to reason with him. Tammy now comes to the ring in a robe. That's sunny for anybody out there. And she's being followed by Chris Candido. She says she knows everyone wants to know what she has under her robe, and she's going to show it. She's basically wearing tight-fitting sportswear that commentary drools over. So she just looks like she's like about to put in her Jane Fonda workout tape and get at it. I don't know, but
I'll buy that.
This is Tammy with Chris Candido in her corner, taking on Paisley, the future Mrs. Booker T, Sharmell. She has the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea in her corner. That's 2 shows this week that Prince Iakea is on.
That's Conrad Trey Wrestler, I believe.
Oh, yeah, mine too, man. This goes about 3.5 minutes. Candido distracts the referee so that Tammy can cheat. Tammy ends up diving on everyone outside and taking them all down. And this gives Paisley enough time to beat up and embarrass Chris Candido in the ring. In the end, Paisley
He did that
hits
by signing with his company.
You ain't wrong. In the end, Paisley hits a DDT counter on Tammy to win. After the match, Candido jumps the artist.
Because if any match needed an afterbirth.
Absolutely. We got to get one in every damn match. Everyone. But Candido jumps the artist, and Tammy jumps Paisley from behind. They beat down the baby faces and pose. Gotta have that afterbirth in there. Like, freaking why, man?
Because they must pose.
Yeah. But backstage...
Do you remember when Sharmell was in that worst match of all time in TNA?
Oh, that Survivor chick? Jenna Maraska or whatever?
I don't remember her name, but... Like, man, that's just going to stick with her forever, including this, too. Well, this is bad as well. Not that I expect it to be good.
Yeah. Well, she was in that... she was in that match you were talking about. I don't know why I remember that girl's name. Jenna Maraska, I believe it is.
Does she look like that?
Ah, well, that is true. But then, I don't know who the other... I want to say it was Ariel or what the hell? Shelly Martinez. I think she was taking on... Oh, hell. Von Erich? Lacey Von Erich, maybe? I can't remember the other person. But that was just as bad. And then... Martinez was wearing like pretty much a bikini, which I wasn't complaining about, but apparently she kept hurting herself because she kept yelling about her vagina. She's like, my vagina. Like, what the hell is going on in this match?
I have no memory of this match.
I think it was on one of those one night onlys. I had heard about it, so I had to, it was either that or a Random Impact, but I had to go back and watch it because I heard it was just like effing embarrassing. And by God, it was.
Yeah, that's why you watched it back.
Well, and for the obvious reasons. 4 especially. But anyway, backstage, Mean Gene Okerlund is standing by with Booker because he can't use the letter T anymore.
Yeah, this is real, folks.
That is a sentence I am saying to you right now. So he lost to Big T, the former Ahmed Johnson, and they feuded over who could use the letter T and who could use the Harlem Heat theme. So here he's got some random like rap beat that he comes out to, and he's just Booker. Yeah.
I believe they dubbed that over because they were using like the Leave It to Beaver theme song.
I watched the original feed, the one I found. I didn't watch it on Peacock. So he had some like just generic rap beat he was coming out to.
I do remember there was a whole thing where he didn't use that music. That was stupid.
Yeah. Freaking just sucked, man. But Mean Gene mentions that at Slamboree, it will be Booker versus Scott Steiner for the U.S. title. Cameraman is walking back and forth, forward and back, and shaking the stupid camera all over. Another Russo special. Major Guns randomly...
Why does a creative guy get say over like camera visuals and stuff?
Apparently he's like a micromanager with all that stuff. Because he has to play out his vision. And in his vision, apparently he's dropping acid and eating
Does she have
shrooms.
glaucoma?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, cameramen couldn't effing stand still. Why? Who the hell's in charge of production? It shouldn't have been Vince. But anyway, Major Guns randomly walks in. She's a horrible actress, but obviously that's not why she's there. And she says she wants to ask Booker a few questions. She asks Booker what he has to say about facing Mike Awesome tonight, and Booker is complimentary of Awesome before leaving. Yeah. Useless segment is useless.
The show is useless.
You ain't kidding. We now head to Scott Steiner's locker room, where he's backed Medeja into a corner, and they're getting weird. Some other hot chick on the couch taps Steiner's leg and tells him that Booker's heading to the ring, so they all storm out. You know who the hell that was?
I do not.
Yeah, I had no freaking clue. But backstage, DDP tries telling David Arquette that he can't go out there and wrestle because he's so hurt. But Arquette tells DDP that he can't stop him, and he storms off again. Because, you had to get like 3 of these exact same segments on the show. Because apparently that's a thread to Vince Russo. Anyway.
When I have a story, you gotta have a thread, dude. Yes. Very good.
Yeah. Apparently nobody gave him the memo that doing the same thing over and over isn't a storyline thread. But this is Booker versus Mike Awesome in 5 minutes, 11 seconds. This is the only other thing on the show that could be misconstrued as a match. Scott Steiner comes out with his freaks, and they sit at commentary. In the end, the ref is distracted by Mike Awesome, while Booker climbs to the top rope, and Steiner hits him in the back with the U.S. title. Mike Awesome connects with the Awesome Bomb, the win, another screwed finish. And, might I add, another afterbirth.
Yeah.
Because, and this is the best of them all, man. It's setting up something just chef's kiss.
Hell yes.
Scott Steiner and Mike Awesome keep beating Booker down, and Scott locks in the Steiner recliner. Randomly, Lash LaRue, Chavo Guerrero Jr., Van Hammer, and Hugh Morris run out to help Booker.
Oh,
That's
man.
A cast of characters.
That's lower than the Job Squad, dude.
That's a who's who of who? Like, that's a who's who of, are you still on payroll? But after they chase the heels off, Booker looks
It's
confused.
Sheamus Light, Eddie Guerrero's nephew.
God. The
how the hell do you
tall
still have a job?
the tall Kenny Omega with 0 talent. And Hugh Morris, who's fine. But yeah, after all this, Booker looks confused, as are we. Tony Schiavone keeps referring to these guys as those misfits. Because that's supernatural to just come rolling off the tongue, man. Good God.
WWE had the Radicals, they had the Misfits.
Yeah, oh yeah, because this group is comparable.
Yeah.
I mean, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit.
They both have a Guerrero.
Yeah. The Guerrero here. Like when Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, get that out of here. I want Lash LaRue, Chavo Jr., Van effing Hammer, and Hugh Morris. Like, by God, that's the team, man.
The fact that you started with Lash LaRue has made me laugh.
Double L, man. Didn't he shave his stupid sideburns into L's?
Yes.
What a freak. God. And
he wasn't Irish either. I thought he was. He was Cajun.
Well, yeah, with a name like Lash LaRue, of course.
Yeah, I thought he was an Irish guy when I looking back. I'm like, oh yeah, he was the Raging Cajun.
Yeah. So it means he's French. Ugh. Even worse.
Wow. Good Lord,
okay.
I didn't say it.
Hey, we don't have any French listeners. It's okay. And we won't now. Anyway, we now go to a pre-recorded interview with Scott Hudson and Bret Hart in Bret's home in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Dramatic pause.
Exactly. Bret's talking trash about Hulk Hogan because, of course, saying that Hogan has repeatedly screwed him over, even back in the WWF. He keeps taking his spotlight. Bret
How did him and Shane Douglas, when I get together, put out a double hit on Hogan and Flair?
Yeah, right. It's the instead of the We Hate Rachel Green Club, it's the We Hate Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair Club. Oh,
We hate
man.
the guys who made wrestling what it is club.
Yeah, exactly. Although Bret Hart actually drew a few dimes in his day. Look, I love Shane Douglas, all right, but
Hold on
it's not
now.
like he was a draw.
He might have been a draw for ECW, to be fair.
Okay,
I mean, sarcastic.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, but when you
Yeah.
draw flies to crap, that's still drawing, right? Right?
Well,
That is correct.
so had to get another one in. But Bret claims that he's never
Could
faced
never get
Hogan
enough of
one-on. Bret, that's what she said.
Good
But-
Lord. How did I miss that one? It's my wheelhouse all the way.
Oh, man. But Bret claims that he's never faced Hogan one-on-one because Hogan's always known that Bret was better and would have beaten him. He says that Andre passed the torch to Hulk, but Hulk refused to pass the torch off to Bret. Look, he tried to pass the torch to somebody, and that guy dropped that torch and ran off, okay? So he was probably a little gun-shy at that point. But either way, he then claims that he came to WCW specifically for Hulk Hogan, which has never been expressed before. Just pointing that out. It's hilarious looking back that Bret is saying that he trusts Eric Bischoff and believes that Eric is a great friend. Oh, man. Give it a few years, buddy. But we see shots of Bret
An
Hart's
age like milk.
Right. But we see shots of Bret Hart's gigantic house with tons of land covered in a dusting of snow, and it's effing beautiful. It's sad that Bret's talking about wanting to come back, but he never will. He even talks about the injuries caused in his match with Bill Goldberg.
Kicking his head so hard.
Good God. Is that at Starrcade?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Did we do that one?
I don't remember.
Let's see. We did a lot of Starrcades. 90, 92, 93, 96, 98, 2000. No, we skipped 99.
By God, we did the last one.
Oh, yeah. Hey, 2000. Now, that was a Starrcade. God. Anyway, we now get one final segment of DDP telling David Arquette that he will not come with him to wrestle in the main event. As soon as he walks away, Arquette follows him like a lost puppy. And that takes us to our second to last break here. When we come back, it's main event time for whatever that's worth. Right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
What's up, everybody? I am the hardest part of the ring, the host of the Apron Bump podcast. Ugh. Another wrestling podcast. How many times can I listen to fans tell me who needs a push, who doesn't need a push, who brings Vince's coffee these days? Enough! The Apron Bump is about the journey. It's about nostalgia. It's about discovering new forms of wrestling to really tickle your pickle as a wrestling fan. The podcast brings you reviews of wrestling events all over the world, whether it's WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. We even cover the golden eras of Ring of Honor, Progress, TNA, and more promotions in the future as well. New episodes every Wednesday. Bump day, yeah? Go to apronbump.com or go to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube and subscribe today for the most diverse, fan-friendly wrestling podcast in the world. I'm Hard.
Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
It's main event time of this show, man, so... Good crap, pal.
I'd rather watch the main event of Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, right. But this is Diamond Dallas Page and David Arquette taking on Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff. DDP is the world champion, by the way. So this is a tag team match where the winner, or the person who gets the fall, whatever, will become the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Another Russo special. Keep in mind...
2-on-1. With a 1-1.
Well, keep in mind here that DDP literally won this title on Monday night after beating Jeff Jarrett, who had won it the previous week.
Yeah.
God.
What?
Bro, it's a prop, bro.
Doesn't mean anything, bro.
Clearly. Before the match starts, Eric
You
Bischoff.
see, he never finished that with "to me."
Yeah, right. Eric Bischoff's theme hits, and Kimberly Page comes out in a referee-striped halter top, apparently meaning that she's the ref.
She can count me down anytime.
Yeah, right. They all submit. But anyway.
Oh, I tap.
Arquette and Bischoff brawl up the ramp and around the stage area. Kimberly pretty much refuses to count the pins for Page. After a while, Bischoff comes back to the ring alone, and they double team on DDP. But as soon as Page makes a comeback, David Arquette comes back from the back to join him. DDP signals for the Diamond Cutter.
That's when he comes out looking like the drunk that just got beat up at a bar.
Yeah.
Did you know he
Bischoff
came out like that? He looked like he just been beat up, like at a bar for hitting on some guy's wife.
I was thinking he looked that way all night because he was like pretty much disheveled all freaking night. They were like, "Oh, he's been in a trunk and whatever."
Yeah, a little extra hops on it though.
Yeah. But DDP signals for the Diamond Cutter before making out with Kimberly, which distracts her. Arquette spears and pins Eric Bischoff as Jeff Jarrett grabs the WCW title, blasting DDP in the face.
In the face.
And then he pins him. A new referee runs out, seeing Arquette made the cover first, and counts to 3. How hard did he spear Bischoff? Good God. He looked like he weighed,
Okay, look, they were both being pinned, right? There were two pinballs going on. The one time a referee doesn't count them both and have a screw finish, they do this.
Right.
It's like the one time in history of wrestling right here.
And he knocked, dude, David Arquette, who looks like he weighs about $105 with bricks in his pocket, just apparently speared the shit out of Eric Bischoff bad.
100 pounds, fishy white.
Soaking wet with bricks in his pockets, and counting the weight of his hair, speared Eric Bischoff into like next freaking week apparently. Like
I don't know
Bischoff
if you
was out of it.
Remember the Invasion pay-per-view WWE did?
Yeah,
it was just about as bad as when Earl Hebner speared Nick Patrick.
God, you're right. But at least that one, they're about the same size. Like, oh, good Lord. Like, you mean to tell me Eric was just like knocked the F out? Man, it's like freaking Roman Reigns just ran down there from this year to spear the crap out of him and then step back through his time machine. But either way, the referee makes a cover. He counts to 3 and awards the WCW World Title to David Arquette.
Right.
And I swear, dude, if you listen to Tony Schiavone, he is basically laughing at this company.
Yeah, well, you know what
David Arquette's the world champion.
David Arquette's the WCW champion. But that is 3 new champions within a week and change. And we're about to get a 4th.
And one of those champions, obviously, is a movie actor.
Yep. Oh, nobody cares, bro. I think you and I counted it up one time where they had like, it was like double digits of title changes.
Oh, yeah, there's a video on YouTube, like a quick time-lapse video. I think it's like 27. 24, 25, 26, 27, something like that. Huh.
That's like at least 2 a month.
Look, there's a title change in 2000 for every Ed Leslie gimmick he's ever had. I'll put you like that.
Oh, man. Either way. So Pyro blows on the stage for Arquette's win like he just won the damn Royal Rumble. And DDP laughs.
Twisted Sister's going. Yeah. When he held up his arm, he kind of laughed. He had that look like, oh my God, we really did this.
Yeah, he's laughing and celebrating with David. Why was DDP so cool with all this? He just lost his belt.
And over on the other channel, the champion is it's either Triple H or The Rock right now. So let's take that into account.
Who the hell are they to David Arquette?
Oh,
He's been Dewey in the Scream franchise, okay? He was in 8-Legged Freaks, all right? Show some damn respect.
Bored.
Man. What movie had The Rock done at this point? Huh? Yeah,
well, none.
right.
No.
Exactly. Who the hell was he? Man. But either way, they celebrate and leave through the crowd as Eric Bischoff finally wakes up. Groggy as all hell. Again, like he's just got knocked in the next week. Like, what? Why? By the way, we're all going to find out at Slamboree that this is all a swerve, bro. Apparently, this was planned. How?
Yeah, and how does it end? You remember how it ends? Who gets the title?
It was Jarrett.
Okay, so now, to go off what you just said, why didn't they just pull a swerve and have him winning this right here?
None of this made sense. Jarrett had the pin.
If that was going to be the end game, why did you have to wait till the pay-per-view?
Arquette, was it because Jarrett wanted to do Arquette a favor, like in storyline, and be like, yeah, win the title, and I'll just beat you for it? No, you got to go through hell of that triple stack cage, whatever, then you can become the champion. And that was all presupposing that Arquette would be able to, F DDP over in the end like he did. There's a lot of if, instead of just taking the certain, help Jarrett screw DDP out of the title.
I would say the obvious and easy path.
Yeah. Nope. We got to go with the most convoluted, nonsensical, like if this, then that story. It's like, what? Man.
I think one of the defenses to this day was, well, he pinned Bischoff. I don't think that's okay.
No. Pat O'Connor was rolling over in his effing grave. Just why?
There's so much wrong with it. Well, that, and then you look at Paige losing his title despite never being pinned. Paige losing his title in a tag match.
They never drew a dime.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I would be able to, like, it would still be stupid and I wouldn't be happy with it, but I could defend it a little bit if they made money off of this. They did not. The movie flopped. They didn't draw a single eyeball. They probably drove some away. This was awful. Just from the ground up, awful.
Actually, to go off what you just said, no. The movie continued to flop.
Well, yeah. So it's in the process of cratering.
Yeah.
It hadn't quite hit what's the opposite of the peak? It hadn't quite hit the bottom of the valley yet. But man, it was speeding down there, man.
I knew what they were doing.
Yeah. But anyway, that does it for the show, mercifully. I don't think we're going to be doing too many more thunders on this podcast, but I don't want to speak too soon. Either way, we're going to take our next break. On the other end of this, it's final ratings time, and we'll tell you what's coming up.
How that's going to
go. We'll tell you what's coming up in the future on the podcast. Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan McCarthy, and I'm the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. Start your work week with the Monday Drop-In, where I talk about the sports beat in the Capital District, also known as the Mighty 518, as well as Metro New York sports from an upstate point of view. I also give a life lesson from a weekly sports story, so you might learn something from that. I also have a midweek podcast where I interview different sports personalities and talk about a wide array of topics. Take a listen and subscribe on your preferred podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also check out our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, BellyUpNCR, and Facebook.com/BellyUpSportsNCR. We're a part of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network in association with Godzilla Media. No credentials required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around. TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we're back.
We're back. We're sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You ever see that South Park thing where the oil tycoon apologizes for the spills? He's just like, he's in random settings. He's like, "We're sorry." It's like petting a seal lying naked in front of a fireplace. Man, you won't catch us doing any of that, but we do apologize for subjecting you to this. But hey, we watched it and made it more entertaining, so you don't have to.
Now comes the part of the show where I threw you under the bus. I didn't choose this.
You did not, no.
But I also didn't boycott it either.
Well, you're just setting me up at this point, man, for that is correct. The final ratings time here. Internet Movie Database gave this thing 6.7 out of 10. CageMatch.net CageMatch.net gives it 1.17 out of 10. Seems more accurate. I give it a 5.5 out of 10 or an F. What say you?
I gave it an F either for flop or F off.
Yeah, F minus. Like, oh God, makes you just want to vomit. This is just flat out a horrible show, top to bottom.
Joe,
no redeeming qualities. Yeah. Well, that does it for the bonus show. I apologize. Next month's bonus show will be better. I can promise you that. It will be better, so stay tuned for May. But first, we got to get to next week. Next week, to wrap up the month of April, bringing you TNA Lockdown 2008. So that'll cleanse your palate of crap, because that's actually... I haven't watched it yet, but I remember it's a good show. I just got to go back and watch it. Remind myself and get my notes down. But heading into May here, I'll just run through these kind of quickly, letting you know what's coming up ahead. If you stick with us, I promise it's getting better. May 3rd, we're going back to 92 again. That's an interesting year in wrestling. We've got WCW Wrestle War 92. May 10th, WWE Judgment Day 2004. I want to say you picked that one, didn't you?
I might have. I don't remember.
I think so. But anyway, May 7th.
I've already set each other up the front of the bus.
Well, May 17th is, we're going back to the Land of Extreme in one of the later years. It's ECW Hardcore Heaven 1999.
These are usually the palatable ones.
Yeah, we'll see. But May 24th, that is Double Main Event Week. And we're bringing you some WCW and WWE. On May 24th, it's WCW Slamboree 1996. That may be a good one. I don't remember off the top of my head. But the bonus show that week on the 26th is the very first ever SmackDown that aired on April 29th, 1999. That one was that was the special, wasn't it? Before it became an actual weekly show.
Yep.
When did it actually launch? Was it September?
I want to say it was August.
Okay, that was close. But yeah, so April 29th. They had a one-night show. It was SmackDown. We're going to review that. And then we're wrapping up the month. First time we've ever reviewed anything from this company on the podcast. We're bringing you Ring of Honor War of the Worlds 2014. That should be a good one. The card looks pretty good. It combines Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. A lot of titles on the line. And a lot of people on this very show are currently in WWE. And a handful of them, I think, are in AEW. So, yeah, it'll be fun. Changing it up a little bit and seeing if the people have an appetite for it. But what I did not have an appetite for was today's show. Look, I had fun talking about it. Watching it, I couldn't wait for it to end.
You just say that because you wanted to get to the end and watch Arquette win.
Oh, of course, yeah. That was the money shot right there. Anyway, but that is it. Thank you for joining me today, Greg.
You were doing this to me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, we were friends, asshole.
Yeah, well, hey, sometimes, you got to subject your friends to some crap, all right? That's what guys do. You and I always have that rule. If I had to see it, so do you. So, but anyway, we're coming up on 3 years. I think it's our 3-year anniversary coming up in a couple of months. So,
I'm making a cake.
Hell yeah! But that was today's show. Again, I apologize, everybody, but hopefully we made it entertaining for you. We'll see you next week on Wednesday when we bring you TNA Lockdown 2008.